So hi, this is Rye from Mediasphere. I'm going to be covering the news article that came out about HBO Max rethinking their strategy and how they make their shows. And I thought it was interesting, so I thought I could read out the whole article and then after the article go into my thoughts of it. Exclusive, HBO Max is starting to build its new original drama slate with projects developed under the model introduced by the streamers, Emmy-winning The Pit, which involves 15 plus episodes per season and a modest budget and a yearly release. The first two projects, which have received pilot orders, are a cop drama, American Blue, from Supernatural showrunner, and a family drama, How to Survive Without Me, working title from top TV creator Greg Berlanti and a person who did Life After Life and a person who did Fellow Travelers. Both hail from Warner Bros. Television when Carver and Berlanti Productions are under overall deals. Written by Carver, who executive produces with Brian, American Blue centers on a native son, Brian Melk, who returns to his hometown, Juliet, Illinois, to rescue a begorgered police force while seeking redemption of his own. The cop show invokes such classics in the genre as Hill Street Blues and NYPD Blues, said HBO Max head of original Sarah Aubrey. It's very much in the vein where you really get to know these police officers and understand that they are members of this community that they're serving, but also it is very much in the streets on their feet doing the job in 2025, she said. Carver and his producing partner have spent a lot of time in Juliet, located 40 miles southwest of Chicago, with the local cops. We always love that kind of very specific storytelling. Aubrey said it's one of the secrets of the success of the pit, so it's exciting to us that Jeremy and Brian have done that deep dive. How to Survive Without Me was written by Berlanti and Doran from a story of the duo co-wrote with Rogers. The trio executive produced with Berlanti Productions, Sarah and Leigh London Redman. Greg is a legend in the world of television, Aubrey said. He was eager, and we were eager to go back to his family drama roots, ALA, Brothers and Sisters. She added, referencing the well-received 2006 ABC series on which Berlanti was a writer, executive producer, and showrunner. This marks the second pilot order for Berlanti and Duran this year, in addition to Hulu's YA mystery Foster, which they executive produce with Rogers. Berlanti also has Stillwater with a series order at Amazon. In success, cop drama American Blue and family drama How to Survive Without Me could both go to series, joining HBO Max's sole current drama offering. Medical drama The Pit from ER alum Noah Wiley and G. Scott Jermill and John Wales, which won 5 Emmys for the first season, including Outstanding Drama Series. There are other projects in the works under the Pitt model, including legal shows for a full gamut of classic drama series genres, all through a 2025 perspective. They combine serialized and procedural elements. Family soaps are much more serialized, but with the other kind of workplace shows, our goal is to have a close-ended story in every episode like The Pit does. The Pit has a long-running stories mixed with resolution and people being treated in one episode. Aubrey said calling close-ended stories not as limitation but as a feature. With the focus currently on American Blue and how Survive Without Me, it will likely take a while before another pilot greenlit through Aubrey left the door slightly open should an assigned prospect come along. We will look at pilots for next year for sure, she said. Aubrey, who oversees HBO Max's original drama series, spoke to Deadline about the model previously revealed by Casey chairman and CEO HBO and HBO Max content. Aubrey, who also is shepherding the Warner Bros. IP based series for HBO that will stream on HBO Max, spoke on how the HBO Max original dramas with budgets believed to be about 4 million an episode will fit into the slate alongside the big budget HBO tentpole shows like Harry Potter, which she said is chugging along. Also commenting on the template is Clancy Collins White, President Creative Affairs of Warner Bros. Television, which produces the project developed under it, including The Pit and the two other pilots. The duo also teased what to expect from The Pit Season 2. How did the model come about? Aubrey said, Casey and I saw this white space in the streaming landscape of people not making network style shows with 15 plus episodes that return annually, and both of those are very important factors. Because one, with 15 episodes, you really give people an opportunity to sink into a world. It's one of the reasons why certain older shows, people binge them like crazy because they're able to watch more than 8 episodes every 2 years. We saw that and thought, oh, this is an opportunity, and made that bet that audience would flock to that kind of storytelling, and simultaneously John and Scott and Noah were really itching to tell a story set in a hospital in 2025. That was the very important part of to them. What does medicine look like today post-COVID, and their kind of creative passion we always really want? We can have ideas about shows that are going to work, but we always need partners that have a real focus and passion about the story they want to tell. So this all aligned perfectly, and The Pit is the result. Warner Bros. TV was a part of the process of the get-go, starting the initial conversation with Wells, Jermill, and Wiley. Collins White, everybody was really energized and excited about the idea of trying to come up with a model that allowed us to do more episodes than just 6 or 8 or 10 we've been used to doing on streaming, in which come out on a weekly basis, and most importantly, producing these for a reasonable budget and to be able to get back on the air a yearly cadence, which is so important for audiences who I think have become increasingly frustrated by the fact they love shows, but then there are only 8 to 10 episodes, and they're going to have to wait for 2 years for another season to come on. While The Pit was still in the works, HBO Max had started developing more shows under the same business paradigm, but people in the industry were skeptical at first, employing a wait-and-see attitude. Aubrey said, and then once The Pit came out, creators, agents, etc., saw what we wanted to do and that John and Scott had taken a tried and true network model but updated it in terms of character complexity and this unique style that is almost documentary all in one day, hour by hour. Creators saw the ambition of what we were doing inside of a tried and true format. As a result, we are continuing to look at those tested genres, specifically cop shows, legal shows, family shows, and seeking how we can continue to engage this audience that come for The Pit. Interestingly, the thing that The Pit did that is unusual and exciting, it engaged our core prestige audience, but also broadened and really grabbed onto viewers that were coming to the service more for a movie or our library really hooked them in. Because of the 15 episodes and having time to build the word of mouth about the quality of the show, we were getting everyone by the end. The breadth of the audience from these types of shows is important to us, to our business model. With the slate growing, we may need a name for the shows developed under the new template. Prestige, broadcast, adjacent series, perhaps, in light of The Pit's Emmy triumph. Aubrey said, people bristle at the word procedural because for a while that had a negative connotations to it. I've heard some people call it procedurals, which I just laugh at because I think that's kind of funny, but honestly, it's a very particular kind of muscle that people have not been exercising for a while, and very few can do it, which is to do this many episodes, but because of the quality of streaming shows with this updated character depth and stylishness to it. So I don't really have a one size fits all the word for that, but I think people understand pretty clearly that it's scratching a different itch from, I said shows that come back, that have big, marvelous scope and kind of epic world building, but have shorter episode counts and get a long time in between both seasons. HBO Max has its own big temple series with shorter orders and long stretches between seasons. In HBO's Game of Thrones franchise, The Last of Us, and Harry Potter, among others, The Pit and other HBO Max dramas in that mold are designed to provide viewing opportunities for fans awaiting for the next temple. Aubrey said, we're excited by the broader audience that these shows are bringing in. It's a very complementary strategy. Pilots come back. While The Pit had a straight-to-series order, American Blue and How Survive Without Me are pilots. Part of the resurgence of the broadcast development stable. Aubrey said, I wasn't at HBO then, but HBO held on to doing pilots for a long time. Even when things were being ordered straight to series when the streaming wars were starting. HBO famously ordered a pilot order to House of Cards and was outbid by Netflix, which gave it a 2 seasons order to announce itself and kick off the streaming wars. Aubrey said they're a really useful, important tool because we're not running a bake-off in an old-school network way. We are very particular about what we pick up to pilot. We've really done the work on the scripts and shape of the season, so it's not let's shoot 8 and pick up 1. That's not the intention. That said, especially when you're being ambitious, one thing I love about the pit, and we definitely want to continue to see it in these shows, is these very fresh faces building out a big ensembles and getting a chance in a pilot to see who's popping, what's working, how do you shape the show accordingly. It's just very important proof of concept in all those respects, and an educational tool for the showrunners who are building something that they have to make 15 episodes of and return very quickly, and that's just a different kind of engine. So I think for all of us, both creative and practical purposes, it's a great tool that we're excited to take advantage of. Will pilots be the default development path with straight to series orders as the exception? Aubrey said, "We don't really make hard and fast rules about anything. That's the beauty of being and responsive to whatever walks in the door. We are known for taking our time with development. I'm sure sometimes that drives people crazy, but I also think it's why we have a pretty consistent pipeline of quality. So the pilot is just one part of that overall operating system and a tool to be used. I don't think it's like part of that has to be a pilot now, but we're excited about pilots. There is no exact target number for how many of these the pit style dramas HBO Max wants to have in rotation each year. Aubrey said, when there are great scripts that are ready, we will shoot the pilots and hopefully go to series. But we're very deliberate in the development as we are with everything else. So I don't think you're all of a sudden going to see the tuned on and have 7 of these shows on. But our commitment is to developing a robust slate where they can hand off each other over the course of the year so that you have several for that audience that is coming specifically for this kind of show and our core audience. HBO Max WTV partnership and leaning on veteran showrunners like The Pit, which produces 15 episodes a season. If American Blue and How to Survive Without Me are picked up to series, they too will be making at least that many at a similar budget, which, as mentioned, is believed to be $4 million an episode. Aubrey said, I'm not going to open about the budgets, but yes, part of it is not just the money spent on the show, but part of it is the nature of the show itself. To make 15 episodes, you have to build and lean and mean a machine to do that. So the goal is to replicate what John did so well on The Pit, but also what TV used to be. It just hasn't been that for a while. The other great part of it for us is we have a wonderful partners in Warner Brothers, and they're experts at this. They've been doing it forever, working with Channing and Clancy and their teams and their creators on this budget model with this many episodes is such a great company aligned way of working, and we're thrilled to be continuing. Working with Warner Bros. TV also gives HBO Max access to the studio's roster of talent, including seasoned showrunners like Wells, Jermil, Berlanti, and Carver, who have done broadcast dramas that deliver 22 episodes a year on a broadcast size budget. Aubrey said they've been in the business with people that have done these kinds of shows for a broadcast style budget. Aubrey said they've been in the business with people that have done these kinds of shows for a long time, and I don't think it's an accident that there are established showrunners because it's hard to do this. There's a real to breaking story at a certain pace, making sure that it's producible. I think that John and Scott and Noah make something very complicated look elegant and easy, which is telling character story in the middle of medical action. Everything that a doctor does in the pit is filtered through how their character would practice medicine in that moment. And that's a real skill in a big ensemble show. I think that for all those reasons, the production model, the budget, the scope of the ensemble, the number of episodes, and annual return, it really leads you to people that have done it before and have the experience. Is sibling Warner Bros. TV an exclusive studio partner on the model, or is HBO Max open to outside suppliers too? Aubrey said, "We are absolutely prioritizing working with Warner Brothers on these shows, and other development reflects that, both because we prioritize it and they're doing a great job bringing us interesting things. We would never rule out or make a hard and fast rule. We are only doing shows with Warner Brothers. I would say the vast majority are with them, and we plan for them to be with them, but we always leave room for something interesting to walk in the door." The model from studio perspective. For shows to fit the pit framework, they are conceived and developed that way at Warner Bros. TV. Collins White, it's all about how these shows are built from the ground up. The common ingredients are incredible storytellers who are excited about trying to make a series that feels authentic and realistic and maybe feels familiar, but in a way that also feels elevated and sophisticated. We used to always talk a lot in the past about what's an updated variation on a familiar theme. And I think that's what the pit offers, in which you can do in other genres. It's an opportunity to take something and really elevate and make it feel like this is a different way to do character-based drama that feels like a streaming show. The pit also made headlines with its unusual fixed fee cost payment system. On of many facets the studio employed to work within a limited budget, helped by the large in parentheses for streaming episode count. Collins White said, "There's a budget for the show that spans a particular season. Having more episodes, as you well know, allows you to amortize those costs over more episodes, which is always helpful, but certainly, as was the case with the pit, you need very intentional when you go in and say this show is going to be at this price point, so everybody needs to be aware and cognizant of that. It's a show about police. How many days are we on stages, and how many days are we on location? What does our casting budget look like? Are we shooting in a rebate state, or are we trying to shoot in Los Angeles? There are all the conversations you have in conjunction with your partners to be able to make the highest quality show at a respectable budget. Coming out of the strikes in particular, and in a business that's changing constantly, in order to succeed, we have to be adaptable. We have to be we've got to be willing to pivot. Everyone's trying to make television responsibly. The Pit's spectacular second season. After having a long time to work on season 1, the Pitt team had to go back and do another 15-episode season on a tight schedule. Can they sustain the quality at that volume? The quick turnaround. Collins, White, and Aubrey share their early reactions to season 2, which premieres in January next year, 2026. Collins White said, "It's really spectacular. They've added some cast members, so that's been exciting, but we still have the cast that we love, and yes, in my humble opinion, they can absolutely sustain it." And then Aubrey said, "They're not resting on their morals, I'll say that much. They are going for it yet again." Donna and Robbie, played by Noah Wiley and Catherine, have their very juicy stories in this season. They're dealing with new challenges, and the last season day, it's not like, oh, we forgot that ever happened. It's a new day. It hit the reset button. They both are carrying baggage from that. I don't want to ruin too much, but they're evolving the show in a very organic and surprising way, and there are assured there are medical cases that you cannot rip your eyes from, even if you want to sometimes. I'm very excited. The pit model is here to stay. Even with all ratings and awards and success of the pit, HBO Max and WBTV will not change the parameters and raise the show's budget beyond the mandated union increases. Collins White said, "The whole purpose of this is to continue to do the show at a reasonable budget." Aubrey said, "I think the TV god smiled on us with the pit. It is pretty unusual to try something new and have it this result. Obviously, that's not going to happen every time out of the gate, but we're very committed to this strategy and to the audience that we brought in. So much more to come." So now on to my thoughts. I just thought to read out the whole article for you because I found it very interesting to me and exciting, and I thought to say that my thoughts on it is that I'm excited for this new mall, and I think it's cool because nowadays streaming shows are only 6 episodes, 4 episodes, 5 episodes, 8 episodes, and the most is probably 10. And then they don't come back for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And it takes forever to come back. And sometimes the episodes of the shows are very short or very long. So I find it cool that since the success of Pit, which is a show I really want to watch, but I haven't, since the success of Pit, now they're going to do TV shows under a new banner, or they're going to hire actors that probably cost less money and not spend $100 million on the whole entire show. So I find it exciting because the older TV shows, like a TV show I'm currently watching through and really enjoying, House. Each season's like 22 episodes, 24 episodes, or 23 episodes, usually 24 episodes. And like, yeah, each episode is a case, but there's a story with the characters, and you get enwrapped in the characters, and you really are invested in what happens. And I find it, since streaming shows nowadays, are better, I feel, in quality of writing and things. I find a sign that they're going to now do things like an article said that we're going to do like legal shows, cop shows, whatever shows in a 2025 perspective or in a 2026 perspective if they're released. I find it cool, like, you could do a legal show and you could have like a whole cast of characters, like the Pit has a whole cast of characters, but you could introduce new characters each season, and like you're mostly invested in the character drama of the show, of the characters and their storylines, and doing it through like a lawyer perspective, like, or a cop perspective, and trying to accurately depict what it's like to be a cop in 2025 or a lawyer or whatever. But you could add some fantastical things since it's obviously storytelling. But I find it very exciting, and that we're going to get TV shows that are high quality, or hopefully high quality, that return every year, that have 15 or more episodes. I just found this news story very exciting to me, and I was very interested, and I thought to share it with you people. And I hope you enjoyed the video and my thoughts. And I want to end this video, and I wish y'all who watched or didn't watch the video, I wish y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. And bye-bye.